Alright, this is a video to show you how to create a name tag that will stand up all by itself using the laser cutter. Now, this won't be using any etching, this is only going to be using cutting. The first thing we need to do is make the base. So the base, we're just going to bring in a square. Now, one of the things we're going to need to learn first is something called fill and stroke. So what this does is it allows us to determine, we're going to remove the fill, so the black part, and we're going to add the outside, which is known as stroke. We need that to be completely red, and we need it to be exactly 0.01 inches. What this does is, whenever it is red, the laser is going to cut it. So I have it right here, it's selected. I need to take my dimensions. I'm going to make my width also in inches. We're going to go 2 inches by 2 inches. Click that a little bit better. Okay, so I'm 2 inches by 2 inches. Then I need to bring in a shape for the hole. So this also has to be very specific. My width needs to be 0.25. And my height needs to go 0.25. And my height needs to be 0.125. As you can see, this is not 0.01. We'll change that. I also need this. You can really have this wherever you like, as long as it is roughly in the middle. I'm just going to use the align feature down here. I'm going to press shift to select both things. So just put it in the center this way and the center this way. That is done. Draw a box around it. I'm going to group it. That is set. I'm just going to set that over there, and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, we need to bring in some text in order for us to write with. So I already have one over here. I've selected something called Rage Italic, whatever that is. Let me just move this up a little bit. It doesn't really matter. And here is my name. Once you click off, it becomes an editable image. And then what we need to do is build the base that it will be on. So I'm just going to draw my box. We're going to make it roughly, we'll bring this back into inches. We're going to go 0.25 inches tall, roughly. And it will be the length of my name, because that just makes sense. Okay, then I need to make another box. This is for the vertical. This one is very important because it needs to fit into this hole. So the width of this needs to be specifically 0.25. The height doesn't really matter, but we'll go with 0.75. And that should be pretty much all that I need to do. Okay. Also with the name, we're going to get rid of the align and distribute. Remember, we want it to cut, so no fill, just stroke. And then also 0.01. And we're pretty much good. All right, now the problem that we have, the laser, when it is going to cut perfectly around this square and around this square, which means it's going to cut. These won't be connected as a T. So what we need to do is do a bit of node editing in order to make that happen. So I'm going to roll back out again, control and roll. Need to draw a box around everything. I'm going to go to path, object to path. And it doesn't look like much has changed, but if you go into the node editor, you see that it is different. And what this allows us to do is manipulate things a little bit easier. So when I select on this, you see I have 2 little nodes. If I press click on it, it turns green. I hold down the shift key and I can select the other. And then up here are my node editing tools. If you hover on them, it'll say what they are. This would join some together. But we're looking for this one that will break it. So what this has done is it has broken these nodes so that I can separate them from the other pieces. I'll just draw a box around those, select them both, and then I'll just put this back. The other problem I have is I need to now connect this to that. So in order to add a node, I need to double click. You see I added a node, double click to add a node, press shift to select both of them, as you can see. Then instead of using the break one, I can actually go over a little bit. It's going to delete the segment between the two nodes. And it works because I'm not at the end. It just deletes it. Now what I need to do is join them together. So I collect the one, select the other node. See, they're both green. And now I use the join that I looked at earlier. Do the same thing on this side. And now when the laser comes, it will cut just like that. Now, the problem we have up here in the name is the same issue. In here it's going to cut, in here it's going to cut. I'm going to have this problem with all of these. So what we need to do is we could do that node editing for each one, but what we're going to do instead is a little bit simpler. We're going to take this, we're just going to move it up so that it is touching on every word letter. So you can see it's touching right here on the B and the R and so on. You see the R and the I are touching, and as we scroll across, you'll see all the other letters are touching as well. Except for the circle, there's nothing we can do about that. Because we've already converted it to path, we just need to go into our node editor, and the first thing we're going to do is select all our letters. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click the B, and the R, the I, and the N, and the K, and then I will also select the base. So I've selected the letters, and now I need to select the nodes, so I'm going to draw a box all the way around it, and then I just need to go to Path and Union. And the cool part about this is now all of that work is done. Now if you've been paying attention, you'll think, well, why couldn't I do that down over here? And you completely could. But if we had, you wouldn't have known how to use these node editors, so I made you do the extra work. What you would do now to get it ready to go to the laser cutter is just zoom back out. You're going to put these things up beside each other so it is nice and efficient for the laser. And if you like, you can group it together and we'll send it off. And that's all you need.